it's the song that made me realize my issue with Killer Mike.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Killer Mike has always positioned himself as a top tier lyricist, and I don't think he raps that well. Or he's not. I don't say he doesn't rap well, because then you get into what do you mean by rap well, right? So of course all the intangibles are there. He can rap. He has a good rap voice. He has cadence and flow and all that stuff. But like, as when I talk about like pen and lyricism and what you're saying and how you're saying it, it doesn't really connect for me. It's interesting.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say the last thing I'll say.
No, go ahead.
This is why this album works so well, because I don't like the LP production. His, not lack of lyricism, but me not being a fan of him is like Front Street. It's clear because, okay, I don't like the beats and I don't like the raps. Versus the production on here has so much depth and so much soul and so much feel, and you're able to tell a story and everything that goes on with this album. He is now an instrument, right? Whereas before he's on Front Street, it's Killer Mike the rapper, rap, where it's like all this other stuff goes on. It's all a melting pot to make this experience of an album. And I think that's why people are loving this album the way that they are.
It's interesting. I mean, so you tell me if you think this is right. I think like so you talk about his voice, which I'm sure some people think is a little silly, but like it really matters.
Rap voices are, I mean, it's the difference between Guru and Magoo, right?
It's mostly the voice, right?
It's mostly the voice.
You talked about like he can rap, technically.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about, and another thing that he has is content, right? He is talking about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's not, and maybe this is the wrong word, but this is our podcast. We can explore this. This is a safe space.
It's our space.
He's not clever.
Yes.
Maybe there's a better word than clever, but like he's not hiding. He's not like writing bars that make you go, oh.
That's right.
He's very straightforward. Technically capable, flow capable, voice is there, content, but like he's not saying anything that makes you like think back and oh he connected that from earlier, or look at this rhyme scheme, or like that's not him. He's a bit more down the middle. For sure. And maybe that's it. And maybe I could stand to like take notes from that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying I don't like it, just respect the fact that he is more direct and not you don't have to be clever in order to be a great rapper. Sometimes you can be too clever. Absolutely. To me, somebody like a Lupe, like too layered for your own good. I sometimes I don't know, I think that people do. I think there's some rap fans, they just love punchlines, right? They want to hear that little whatever, but sure. That's one of those guys. Yeah. I think sometimes J. Cole is on that line between too clever for his own good and that's a good line, right? Where he's chasing the clever. Krispy Kreme dreams. Sometimes my dogs want to kill 12. Right. That's one of those where I heard that and I was like, hey, listen, man. I saw somebody who was, I saw somebody online. They were like, oh, and I was like, okay, relax. That's not a line you go. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Heating up like leftover lasagna. There's just come on, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Right. But yeah, I feel you. Yeah, sometimes you can chase the clever, and you just need to say it. It's like telling a girl that you like her. You're just you're doing all this stuff and you're talking around it, and she's like, just tell me that you're interested in me. Sometimes it just works I like you and I want to get to know you better. And that's what works. Honestly, to echo the conversation we had in my hotel room where I was showing your son how to chop samples, tension and release. That was actually an excellent. I loved when you shared that with him. I didn't even think of that. It was great. If you've got really intricate wordplay, if you've got some really complicated thing you're pulling off, sometimes you just need to release the tension out of that verse and then bring it back around again. Right? Or conversely, if you're doing Beanie Siegel circa 1999 and you've got the same rhyme scheme and you're just driving this force going boom, 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 boom. Sometimes you gotta switch it up and then come back to it, right? That's right. Yeah, the tension and release.